Hey class, today we are looking at some basic macroeconomic relationships. We have a few learning outcomes. We look at the relationship between consumption and disposable income, savings and disposable income. And by the way, disposable income is the income that is left after paying our taxes. Number 3, we look at the relation between interest rate and investment. Number 4, we look at the relation between changes in spending and changes in output. So the relation between consumption and disposable income, this is called a consumption schedule. The relation between savings and disposable income, this one is called a savings schedule. Now take a look at this graph here. I have a 45-degree reference line, and all along the reference line consumption is equal to disposable income. This reference line is constructed using historical data showing the actual amounts of disposable income, consumption, and savings in the US over a period of time. And we can also see how the consumption varies with disposable income at different possible scenarios. So we have disposable income on the horizontal axis, that's increasing from left to right. We have consumption on the vertical axis, increasing from bottom up. Now the green line is for consumption. So here we can use any point on the horizontal axis, move all the way to this green line, that will be the amount consumed by the household, and all the way if we extend it to the red line, this will be the disposable income. Then we have the small part which is between the disposable income and savings and consumption. This is our savings. Savings is equal to disposable income minus consumption. Just to let you know here, the income that we have after paying taxes, which is disposable income, is divided into consumption and savings. Now take a look at these numbers. We have a bunch of this. We see we have some take homes from these numbers. I will look at row 1 here. If I look at row 1, I see 370 is equal to 375 minus 5. So basically disposable income is equal to consumption plus savings. I can also say disposable income is equal to the gross domestic product. We have a negative number for savings here. If my savings is a negative number, that means we have this savings. Look at row 2. Here we have 390 equal to 390 plus 3 plus 0. So number 2, the second point is whenever consumption is equal to disposable income, this is called a break-even point, and here the savings is equal to 0. Then as we move along, the disposable income numbers and the consumption numbers, rows, the columns 1 and 2 is showing us the consumption schedule. We see when disposable income increases, the consumption also increases. Number 4, if we look at columns 1 and 3, we see the saving schedule. When disposable income increases, the savings will also increase. Okay. Now take a look at this graph here where we have the consumption and the savings one after the other. This is the break-even point, and I see the consumption schedule is here, and the red line, this one is my savings schedule. So right now I'm going to compare the consumption schedule and the savings schedule. I can see over here I have the consumption is greater than disposable income. So to this part, whenever consumption is greater than disposable income, this savings will be below this line, which is 0. The savings will be less than 0 or a negative number. Number 2, the point here is when consumption is equal to disposable income. This one is the break-even point. The savings will be equal to 0. Makes sense because savings is equal to disposable income minus consumption. Now then we can go to this point here. Here consumption is greater than is actually less than disposable income. Unlike this part, over this part we had consumption greater than disposable income. Alright, we are consuming less than our income, so we have opportunity to save our money. So here the savings will be greater than 0. So this is the part here where savings is greater than 0. Now the next thing I'm going to do here is define some fractions. One is APC, the other is APS. APC is consumption over income. Say your income is $100. Out of $100, you will consume only $70. Now, say I'm trying to find APS, the average propensity to consume. My income is 100. My savings will be the rest of the money, which is $30. Now, if I add APC plus APS here, it will be 70 over 100 plus 30 over 100. So this whole thing will be equal to 100 over 100. This is equal to 1. Alrighty. Now the next one, this slide is just showing us the average propensity to consume in a bunch of countries, where I see Canada surpasses US in its average propensity to consume, which is consumption out of disposable income. Now, what is marginal propensity to consume or marginal propensity to save? Marginal propensity to consume is change in consumption over change in income. That means it's measuring the additional consumption out of additional income. Marginal propensity to save is change in savings over change in income. And if you add these two numbers, you will have 1. Alright, going back to this numbers here. First, I'm going to focus on all the APC and APS numbers from row 1 all the way to row 10. I'm going to add this APC and APS numbers. I will see no matter for what level of income I'm adding these numbers, the values will always gonna be equal to 1. The same works for the MPC and MPS numbers. That means MPC plus MPS, these values are also equal to 1, and as you can see, these values are the same. MPC is the same for all levels of income. MPS is also the same for all levels of income. Now I'm going to show you how we get 0.75 here. These numbers I'm going to get from the consumption schedule. MPC is equal to change in consumption, which is 510 minus 495 over change in income, which is 550 minus 530. So this one is 15 over 20. This one is 0.75. Now I will show you how we find out the MPS. MPS is change in savings over change in income. So MPS, this one is going to be equal to 40 minus 35 over 550 minus 530, that is 5 over 20. This will be equal to 0.25. Okay. Alrighty, so what the book does is graphically finding the MPC and MPS, like trying to find this as a slope. So MPC, this is the slope of the consumption schedule, and MPS, this is the slope of the savings schedule. Slope of the consumption schedule will be change in consumption over change in disposable income. We will have the same result like doing our math here, which is 0.75. Slope of the savings schedule is change in savings over change in disposable income. I'm going to have the same number using my math here. Okay, just some other thing to remember. The consumption schedule you can find when you have consumption on the vertical axis. On the horizontal axis, you can either have disposable income or gross domestic product. The same applies for the savings schedule. You have savings on the vertical axis. Horizontal axis, you will have either disposable income or the gross domestic product. All right, that's it. That's all for now. Thank you very much.